What's up, guys? I'm doing the review of the ProMark VR drone, or quadcopter as many of us would call them, to give you guys kind of an idea of, what I think of it and what should or should not be used for. This is going to be completely honest, $148 Walmart. I'm not sponsored by Walmart or ProMark, but this is on sale for Black Friday for $148. Somehow I was able to pick it up for the same price today. But I want to do this because there's not a lot of reviews on it. In fact, there were one unboxing and one little flight second thing, and one by ProMark, which is not a review that I can trust. So here's the deal. One of the things that many people may be used to if they play with some toy quadcopters or drones or some lower models are your throttle sits down here like this. And what that does is you slowly ease it on, turns it on and off. But this thing doesn't have it. It sits in the default like a game controller or like a DJI Phantom, which this thing tries to replicate pretty well. It can probably strap a GoPro towards it because I have not tried it. It is pretty strong and sturdy, but the reason why I'm pointing this out is because you can't shut off the blades in an emergency like you normally would on some of these lower end models. So if you're used to that, be prepared for that to not be a thing. So the only way to do that is to hold the auto land and auto lift feature for like a second or two, and it'll shut off and just crash right to the ground. In case of emergency, you'll want to know that. And because of this, I don't recommend you go out and get this for your children for Christmas. However, I understand that they're your children and you'll do what you want to do. I'm sure with the proper supervision and safety rules followed, this thing can be perfectly fine for them. But it does say that for 14 plus, I don't think 14 is a good age for it, but I would pick other drones for starters to get into. I can name at least 3 or 4 that are at least $40, $50 cheaper. And there are even more for cheaper than that you can get into to teach your children how to fly them if that's something you want to do. If that's something you want to see or suggestions you would like me to make, let me know. This is my first video trying to do this thing. I'm not surprised if many of you don't see it. But without further ado, I'm going to try to give you a crash course interview over this. ProMark see, I almost said DJI. It does look like one. ProMark VR. Alright, so a ward. Alright, so word of advice here, guys. What I'm about to do is try this indoors, and I do not recommend this for indoors whatsoever. As you can see, we got front and flash lights that are flashing green. It's going to be a little bit hard to see on the camera, but in the back is green and orange, and the front is white. So you're going to sync it, did a camera check, and one of the things that I've just discovered is you cannot automatically take it off yourself. You have to hit the button. So this is kind of an overview of everything here. This thing is a little bit heavy, but not heavy enough where you have to register the drone, which is kind of nice. You'll see here 4 props. Now the thing about these propellers are, it is $10 to get a set of 4 replaced. Now you could probably go to a hobby shop or Amazon and find blades that are similar size and replace them. All you gotta do to do that is twist this little top off right here. Not even a twist, you just kind of pull it off. And then these things have a screw locking it in place, and you just pop them off. Now what I'm not sure about is what kind of motor size this uses, but again, since this is for the general public, I'm not going to get into that. Just know if you burn up your motor, it might be more expensive to get it replaced through ProMark, but possible. So the basic overview is right here. You got your camera that's detachable. It does move, which is a nice little feature for this level of price. It is what it calls itself a FPV HD real time. This camera is probably less than your camera you find on the front face of your phone. It's not going to be anything special. In fact, when you're getting up there, it's going to probably be a little grainy. And I'll go over some of the flight stuff later and some of the camera stuff. But overall, when I was buying this thing, I was worried about A, how does it fly? Does it fly well? Does it fly poorly? B, is it worth the money? Or could I buy a cheaper one off of Amazon that does basically the same thing? and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. And then you just got the power. You can charge right there is the DC port to charge, the power button. And then in the back, you got your battery. It's a 7.6 volt. I recommend buying that off of Amazon, getting a larger capacity for lower weight. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and jump into testing the flight out. Okay, so this is the summary. I'm gonna give it as quick as possible. If you want to go for the long overview, go to the beginning of the video, watch it. I've got to put a little hotspot in here so you can click right to this. But if you want the TLDR of this, is it worth it to buy for a consumer person who's just getting started? The answer is complicated, but I'm going to lean towards yes on this. It's very easy to fly. The auto hover feature works great. The auto land, the auto lift makes it really easy. The reset button is simple. The calibration is simple. I mean, they've dumbed this down quite a bit. That's a good thing. It's kind of like an Apple. Apple's very easy to use. It just works. This thing works. There are some pros and some cons. This is entry level. Again, I cannot echo that enough. If you want to seriously take some photos and seriously get out there, this is not the quadcopter for you. This is for practice, some playing around with, and maybe some nice pictures you can get out of it, and maybe some decent video. But overall, this is something for someone who wants to just get used to it. The props are $9. The motors may be hard or impossible to find replacements for unless you mod it. I did not open it up yet. If that's something you'd like me to do, please comment below and let me know. If there is something else you want me to review, I don't strictly do quadcopters. I like to do just about everything. I'm kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to that. I'm just trying to give you the consumer mindset, not the in-depth. If there are some in-depth questions you have, please feel free to ask them, and I will find those answers for you. And hey, if you like the video, subscribe. I'm going to try to do some other things, maybe some video games and other stuff like that. So keep an eye out. Again, if you have questions, I'm always here. Like, subscribe, or dislike if you hated it. Who cares? Let's go.